Modern dating is actually cooked. Like, it is ruined. Okay, so I guess my main reasoning behind why it is so cooked, it's mainly been cooked by the big three dating apps: Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. Now, again, I've only really ever used Tinder and Hinge, and I stopped using Tinder a long time ago, but still, the facts remain. Now, from my experiences on Hinge, the whole point of being on the app was to try and get a date or try and get a girlfriend. So I'd go on them, I'd scroll, I'd send likes, and next thing you know, out of the 8 likes I sent for my daily maximum, I would get about maybe 1 like back in return, which, I mean, that's better than some people, but at the same time, it's not great. Like, especially when you're on these dating apps and you get the most dry responses going, you're expected to carry every single conversation. Now, I don't mind trying to lead conversations, but it's just a thing of, like, most people on the apps just give you a pure dry energy, and they're not like, it feels like they're not actually interested in what you, I guess, are talking about. Like, it feels like no matter what direction you lead in, they don't have an interest. Now, that is pretty bad. But, like, over the last while, I was, I guess, on the apps, and when I was on these dating apps, I rarely got dates. So I was on them over a couple of periods. But I want to talk about my more recent experience on the apps. I went on the apps for probably, on Hinge anyway, for the 4th time in probably the last 2 years, and to be honest, it was pretty bad. Now, I get on the app, then I go on to it, and basically everyone has identical profiles. You see what people do on their daily Sunday, or your typical Sunday, and it's F1 and it's Sunday roast, or don't hate me if I yap too much, or I'm a yapper. And I'm just, anytime I've been, I guess, talking with the quote-unquote yapper, it's always been the most dry conversation. So I guess another problem with these dating apps and how they have really impacted modern dating is expectations. So, like, there are different filters on the apps, and I guess people can select by what they want. So, for example, there's people online who would say, I don't want to date anyone below 6 feet tall, or my partner has to be bench pressing 100 kilograms, or something like that. And it really isn't healthy. Again, my problem with dating apps is, if you look back to the, I guess, traditional way of the way people used to date, wasn't actually that bad. I don't know why people needed apps, because dating apps don't serve their purpose, don't get you dates. As I said, in recent times I went on the apps, and over the course of a month I probably got about 35 matches on a dating app, and I got about 2 dates from that. And if you get 35 likes of people, you think you'd be able to get a higher, I guess, rate of going on dates. And then the dates I have been on, most of them have just completely been terrible. Like, I go on the date and we'd talk for a while, and then we talk about interests, and I feel like I'm having a good time, and I think they are, and then at the end of the date it's like, oh, I guess we'll just leave it here, or I think of you more as a friend. So I'm just like, well, okay then, if that's what you want, we'll leave it here. But as I mentioned, I kind of got off topic there in the rant. The old way of dating wasn't too bad. People would go to their local communities, or meet people at college, or meet through friends. And, like, is that happening anymore? I see the stats going up, and it's like more people are meeting by dating apps, which is kind of scary. Like, imagine telling your kids, oh, how did you and my mum meet, and then you say, oh, we met on Hinge, or something like that. Like, it's just not, I guess, the way you want to meet. Like, personally, I don't want to meet that way, but like, I don't see where my dating opportunities come from outside the apps, and then on the apps I have limited opportunities. So that's why I guess it can be quite cooked, the whole modern dating on the dating app. And like, I'm not gonna pretend like it wasn't probably a thing back in the day, because like I wasn't around back in the day. But I feel like social media and dating apps, they both amplify lust. And like, it just, it feels like nobody's looking for any meaningful relationships. All people want to do is meet for a night and then go home and never talk to you again, which, personally, I don't want to do that. I'd rather a relationship and trying to build something meaningful, as opposed to that kind of, I guess, way of going on. It's not for me, that anyway. And I just feel like then, most people who are young are using the apps, and I feel like it's hard to know, like, even if you met someone in real life, you don't know if they're, I guess, getting DM'd by 20 other people, or DM'd by like 20 other guys or whoever. It's just one of them unfortunate realities of, I guess, the modern way of dating. Also, it doesn't help on dating apps when, instead of like meeting or building connection at like a community place, or I don't know, a local bar or something like that, you can be sending likes to people on the apps from wherever. So you could be sending them while you're on the toilet, and like, that is mad. It's just, imagine that's how you got your match. I honestly also, like, the dating apps and everything that comes with them, I guess, creates a load of different scenarios. Instead of just like asking someone out, you can be in a situationship, you can be in a talking stage, you can be doing this, doing that. It's just like, come on, like, what is the need for that? It's also like the dating apps have ruined modern dating, because it ruins your self-esteem. You actually believe that if you don't meet these demands, if you're not making 100k a year, if you're not over 6'3", if you're not, I guess, having 5 businesses and 2 side hustles, you're doing something wrong and you can't get a girlfriend from it. But that's not true in the real world. It's just, it messes with people, because they feel like they can't find a girlfriend, that they'll never find one. But I guess the solution to all this is just get off the modern dating apps and, I guess, put yourself out there more, because that's what I try to do. Like, I try go to parties, if it's like friends 21st, or if it's, I guess, going to a pub with friends to just hang out or whatever. You never know. It's just, dating apps, again, they do more harm than good, and they're not actually going to solve any problems. They're just gonna, I guess, make things worse, as in, they're gonna keep you single, because their point is basically they're gamified and designed to keep you single. Like, dating shouldn't be gamified. It should be straightforward. You should be able to, if you like the person, they like you, it should be clear, as opposed to if you're on a dating app and they're playing hard to get, or they're not responding for like a day or two. Like, it shouldn't be like that. And I feel like it allows that, because when you're talking to someone who has abundance of options, you can just become one of them options, as opposed to being a priority. And yeah, it just, they make money from keeping you lonely and single. So it's like, you pump money into it and you get no closer to finding a partner or whatever it is you're trying to look for on the dating apps. So yeah, they're my main problems with the apps. And yeah, that's me. I'm out.